So there's no anarchy and everybody doing their own thing. The law is the law. You don't like it, you get the law changed. No, I'm not talking about issues like with abortion, or, these culture issues. That's not what I'm talking about. There's a very particular situation I'm talking about here. So I'm going to give you an example and you put yourself in this scenario, okay? Let's say that you are working for Department of Homeland Security. You've been sent down to take on the National Guard of Texas, and they are protecting that border. They're not going to budge, and there's a long standoff, and then your commander tells you to shoot one of them, and that'll scatter the rest. Do you shoot your fellow American? There's a lot of people that would, especially in any kind of military level, because they will never go against what they say, but they really should. I'm not saying all the time. I'm saying when it's there. We may have differences of opinion on different laws like abortion and that kind of stuff. This is different. I'm talking strictly about a safety issue here, a clear, obvious one. There is very few people in the world. There's really none, hardly, maybe 0.5%, that don't know right from wrong, especially with what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about right and wrong when it comes to a safety issue. Texas is protecting the country, protecting their state by saying, no, we're not going to allow this anymore. You're an American. And if you're not thinking and your commander says, shoot the First National Guard, you're shooting one of your fellow Americans, and when they're standing and protecting the border that your branch of the government isn't willing to protect, do you shoot him? Do you say, well, I have to listen to my commander? And if you think that you can do that without living with that choice for the rest of your life, because you'll betray, if you have a conscience, you'll betray it by doing that. But if you do it, then you always have the excuse that I didn't want to think about really what the right thing here was to do. Because the right thing here is obvious. So it's not stuff that people can debate about. I mean, you can have your corrupt people come in my comment section and they can debate about this and say, no matter what you always do. I mean, maybe you're one of them, I don't know. That no matter what, you always follow every law. No, you don't always follow every single law. You don't always follow you don't always just do what you're told. This world would love that. It has a lot of people that will do that. That's the reason why they've loved to try to push apathy out of everything, is so that you will be more compliant that way. But the fact of the matter is if you are a Department of Homeland Security agent and you've been in a standoff with the Texas National Guard and they will not move, and finally a commander or his commander says, well, we're going to shoot one and hopefully the rest will move out of the way, and you're the one that's told to take the shot, do you do it? I mean, it should be an obvious answer, no. Even if they send you to the gallows, even if they send you to the prison, no, you do what is right in that case. It is an obvious one. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We do not just follow whatever laws we're told. Yeah, there's a ton of laws I follow that I disagree with, and I'm sure you too. And likely many of those maybe I do agree with and you wouldn't. I'm not talking about that stuff. This is a safety issue. That's what I'm talking about. So you saw the Supreme Court. They couldn't put safety first. Instead, they get too confused by, I have to do this, I have to do that, or I have to check this box, and, well, I'm just going to put it on hold for right now, okay? So think about it. This would not be at this place right now. It wouldn't. Had Amy Coney Barrett, had she just put safety first. That's all she had to do. It's that simple. Put away that's why I say it's not good to be overeducated, because you'll lose common sense. This is simple. It's safety, 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 safety. That's what I'm talking about. Not talking about having disagreements about abortion or any trans rights. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. This is a clear-cut, simple safety issue. But people complicate it, and then they make the wrong choice because they complicate it, and then they excuse that away because of laws or sections or articles or in the Constitution. And this is a real simple one. No, nobody that's an honest Fed that is going to be in some standoff with the Texas National Guard should take up any violence against them. It's not even about what's right, and it's not, because this is all wrong. And the reason it is because the leaders have failed. Joe Biden failed to protect the border. The Supreme Court failed to do the right thing. But they have been failing. That's what I've seen for like 4 years now, is that at every level, there's just more and more people that don't know how to do the right thing. And everybody wants to justify it with well, we have to follow the law. Otherwise, we'll just make all of our own laws. No, I'm not saying this is what happens when people follow everything so much that they don't think about if what they're doing is right. Not every law that's put in place is right. I mean, it's not right to have in place, but we follow it, right, for the most part, or we try to fight it. But this is an outright safety issue. The border has been being flooded for 3 years. The Supreme Court just seems to be doing whatever they want lately, okay? They could have made a difference here. Joe Biden could have. FBI, DOJ, Homeland Security. Most of those people are just corrupt, in my opinion. But many just might be doing, well, I can't, there's nothing I can do about it. No, there's always a choice we have. And the choice is you don't, when your countrymen are doing what your department won't do, what the Supreme Court doesn't seem to be able to make a right decision about, because we would have never got to this had they been able to put safety first. Everything that Texas is doing has to be done, regardless of what the Constitution says. You have to protect lives. And that may come at the cost of other lives, because people will be stupid enough to think that I follow orders and I follow laws and I never stop and think, because I just think all the laws are right. And when it comes to safety, sometimes they aren't. So it's a good idea to consider those things, because you may not want to find yourself in a situation like that and then not know what to do. I would never, ever, no matter if the president was telling me, I wouldn't, even if it was Trump, telling me to shoot down a Texas National Guard that's trying to protect his state and country, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. Not for what right now, no. I'd be like, no, I see this, the branch I'm in is doing wrong. Really, all of the people that are any good in that branch of government, in the federal level, if you're not corrupt, they should be doing citizens arrest on Biden and all these people. For all of this, Biden has a responsibility to protect the border. He hasn't for 3 years. Nobody has held him accountable. Nobody's willing to arrest him, because everybody is just saying, well, the Supreme Court has to tell us, or this has. No, the Supreme Court can't even put safety first. They can't even put truth first, because they haven't wanted to address 2020 for 3 years. So it sometimes just comes down to you, that everybody is sometimes forced into making a moral decision on your conscience, and not what the law says, but what does your conscience tell you? You don't want to have to live the rest of your life with doing something that you know you shouldn't have done, but excusing it away as I was doing as I was told and following the law.